there, all you beautiful people. It's Rosey with Creations by Caredeo, and thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I really appreciate it. So in today's video, we are going to be making a embellishment flip page kind of book. I'm not really sure what to call it, but it's going to be lots of fun to make, and it's going to be super sturdy. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that you're going to need are 2 pieces of cardstock. Now I'm using 110 pound because I want it to be really solid. So I'm using 110 pound, but certainly use whatever you have in your stash. And so you're going to need 2 pieces that are 11 by 7. And all I did was on the 11-inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to join these 2 pieces together so that we have one long piece. I've already added my double-sided tape to one of the pieces right within the 1/2 inch score. And I'm going to go ahead and just release just a little bit of it. And then I'm just going to join them 2 together. And let's go ahead and just burnish it to make sure that we have it well adhered. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to lay down our chipboard pieces. Move this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab my scoreboard. I do this on every project because it just makes it a little bit easier for me to make sure that everything is straight when I am placing down my chipboard. So let's see here. I think I haven't. Yep, I have a 1-inch margin. So I'm just going to place it in on the 7-inch side, and I'm just going to score at 1 inch. And that just kind of helps me to make sure that when I'm placing I'm going to flip it over, and now I'm going to do 1 inch on the opposite side. That just makes it so that it's easier on me when I'm trying to eyeball where to place it. I'm not crooked. You certainly don't need to do this part, although it does help me. Let's go ahead and first bring in our 5 by 4, and that's the bottom, and I've already placed my double-sided tape. So let's go ahead and just take off the paper backing. Okay. And while I'm at it, I will go ahead and remove the paper backing from my other pieces of chipboard as well. Okay, let's go ahead and put down our bottom piece first. So again, the 5 by 4. And I want to make sure that where we've joined the 2 pieces together, it's going to be in the middle of my chipboard. So I'm just going to follow the score line that I did for myself. Like that and like that. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and we will place the 5 by 7, one on either side. So I'm going to leave about 1/8 of an inch in between. Let's see. Okay, and then let's do the next one. We'll place it on the other side. So much fun. Okay, about 1/8 of an inch. Alright, so now let's just go ahead and flip it over and just make sure that all of my double-sided tape is really well adhered. Okay. Now what we need to do is we just need to fold over our sides. Now I'm going careful because I don't want my cardstock to break. You don't want it to rip. So I'm just taking my time, going slow. Okay, like that. And then let's do the opposite side again. just being careful. There's nothing worse, right, than working on a project and then realizing down the line after you've done all this work that it cracked on you. Okay, now I'm just going to do the top sides. Okay, so now that we have all 4 sides, right, we have them all folded, let's go ahead and miter all 4 corners. So leave me a comment down below. What have you been into lately as far as movies? I'm looking for a new series or a movie, something to watch. I have Hulu, Amazon Prime, Netflix, Disney, what else? Starz. And believe it or not, I can't seem to find something good to watch. So if you have any recommendations, I would really, really appreciate it. Because I don't know about you, but I'm always looking for new things to watch. I just started, well, I finished right now, watching Outlander. I know it's been out for years, and I am late to the game on just about everything. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use my double-sided tape, and I'm just going to place it all the way around. Okay, let's just make sure that everything as far as the tape is well placed on. Okay, and then let's go ahead and remove the paper. I'm going to flip it over this way. It's just easier for me. Okay. Okay, and then do the exact same thing to all 4 sides. Yeah, so you're going to think I'm crazy. So I have my craft studio. I actually have it in the master bedroom. I gave the studio the master because I needed more room in the studio. And again, I live alone, so it's not that big of a deal, you know what I mean? But my studio, it's not large, but it's not small. It has a nice large walk-in closet as well as a secondary normal closet, and then of course it has its master bathroom, but I have maxed out every inch of my studio. So little by little I have been placing some additional items in my living room, and let's see here, I'll tell you in just 1 second. Okay, so now we've done that, we've gone ahead and we have covered our chipboard. Now what we need to do is we need to line the inside. Okay, so for the liner, for the inside portion, what you're going to need are 2 pieces of cardstock. One that is 4 3/4 by 11, and then the other one is 4 3/4 by 7 3/4. So 4 3/4 by 7 3/4. So the first one that we will do is the longer piece, the 4 3/4 by 11, and I'm going to go ahead and just place that down. Okay, good. Alright, and then let's take the other piece and we will do the exact same thing, making sure all my tape is pushed inside. Let's see, right about there and there. Does that look good? Yep, okay. Alright, and then let's go ahead and just burnish that really, really well, taking special consideration to the edges. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so just gently, you're going to feel that kind of, that resistance, so that's why we're going slow. Ultimately, what we want is we want these two tops to touch. Okay, so next, let's see what we're gonna do. Now, I did want to show you one thing. So you just watched me be very, very careful in the bending of the front and back covers to our project, and sometimes it's inevitable. It happens to everyone, and the cracking can definitely happen. So let me just show you, and I'm not sure whether or not you can see it. Let me just push these two together so you can see that it started to crack just a little bit. I'm looking on the other side. The other side is good, but here there is some cracking. So it's so small that really I don't need to do anything to it, but I wanted to give you an example of how you can fix it, should you want to. So what I did was I just cut myself 2 pieces of the same card, 5 by 2, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go directly over it. So basically I'm just reinforcing that, that crease. So there's always ways that you can kind of get around it. So I've gone ahead and done that. I've placed my double-sided tape. And again, my cracking isn't that bad, but I definitely want to show you guys, if you do see the cracking, how you might be able to get around it. Now, if you were placing your scrapbook paper directly over the entire thing, then you wouldn't necessarily have to do this step. But because I'm only using my scrapbook paper to kind of on part of the paper, meaning I am leaving myself a 1/8 of an inch border all the way around my scrapbook paper, so that you see a little bit of pink on the edges, if that makes any sense. So let me just see here. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. So I have cut myself a piece of scrapbook paper, so you see that it doesn't go edge to edge. I've left myself 1/8 of an inch going all the way around. I just think it looks really pretty offsetting that. So because I've done that, the cracks, if you have any, will show. So just kind of showing you that. So there's a little tip. So, okay, so I have my 5 by 2, and essentially all I'm going to do is I'm going to place it right over the corner. So let's see if I can do this. Okay, just adhere it, and then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of close it a little bit, and then just wrap it right around. Let's press it down. So now we have an added layer of protection for the cracking. So let's go ahead and do the other side now. So there is an easy fix. So now you can see that our creases are now reinforced, okay? So the next thing that we want to do is that we want to keep this perpetually shut. But we're going to need to do something before we actually do that. So what we need to do is I want to make my holes, because we're going to be using binder rings. So let me get out my hole punch. I'm bringing in my We Are Memory Keepers Crocodile 2, my big bite. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place 2 holes. It's going to be 1/4 of an inch down from the top, and then 1 1/4 inch from the left, and 1 1/4 inch from the right. So let's go ahead and bring in my T-ruler and a pencil. Let's see, and a pencil. Now you can certainly just eyeball it if you like. Let's see here. I'm going down about 1/4 of an inch. Let's see. 1/4 of an inch, and a 1/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to go from the left and right hand side, I'm going to go in 1 1/4 inches. So maybe I should do it this way. Okay, so 1 1/4. Okay, so 1 1/4. Okay. Okay, so let's bring in our crocodile and we will go ahead and make our holes. I'm going to go ahead and use the 3/16 of a hole. And let's go ahead and get this punched out, and then the other one. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to do the exact same thing now on this side. Okay, so I'm actually going to change my mind here on something. I ended up going to my cards area, and I love these cards by Recollections that I get from Michaels. They have the scalloped edge, and I typically will cut the scallops and use them in different projects. So I was thinking, man, would that look really pretty if I used that on this project? So again, I am crafting on the fly here. I have just cut myself 2 pieces from the cards. I made them 7 1/4 inches high. So let's see what that's gonna look like. I think it's gonna look super, super pretty. So let's see, guys, how this is gonna come out. But that's what crafting is all about, right, guys? Is trying some different things and seeing how it comes out. Okay, I like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and push that down. So let me tell you what size cards I got. So these are Recollections cards and envelopes. It says heavyweight. The cards themselves are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. So that's the pack that I got. Okay, so I didn't need to do anything with the width, and let me just show you. So you can see that I have a nice maybe 1/4 of an inch going all the way around. So let's go ahead now and do the opposite side. And that looks good. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and make sure that it's pressed down really, really well. Now don't worry about the crease mark that you see. Let me show you. See that crease mark? That's from the card where it kind of indicates to fold it in half to make it a card, but we're not going to even worry about it because we have scrapbook paper that is going to cover that. Okay, so now it's looking like this. Now let's go ahead and, alright, yeah. I was going to say, should I do my holes? But nope. Let's go ahead and bring in some scrapbook paper. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to need, let's work on the bottom first. So for the bottom, you're going to need a piece of DSP that's 4 7/8 by 3 7/8. I've already placed my double-sided tape on. And let's go ahead and just remove the paper backing. Okay. Okay, so there is the bottom. Get that all nicely pressed down. Okay, so there is the bottom of our project. Now what we're going to need are 2 pieces of scrapbook paper that are 4 7/8 by 6 7/8. So that's going to be for the front and back. Let me move that out of the way. I've already added my double-sided tape, and we're just going to add that on. Okay, so I've taken off the paper backing from my double-sided tape, and now I'm just going to go ahead and just place it right in the middle. So let me move this so I can see it. Okay. Alrighty, make sure it's nicely pressed down. So now you can see that we have our nice scalloped edge to it, and I think it just adds a whole nother level, doesn't it? Oh, I think it came out so, so pretty. Okay, let's go ahead now and work on the other side. I was talking about earlier my craft studio, and I'm kind of redoing it. And since it has spilled over to my living room I would say is, honestly, I would say it's a good 2/3 of my living room is now occupied by craft supplies. As well, my apartment is not large, guys. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, right? It's not large, but it's not small, like small. It's perfect for one person. In any case, it comes with a little area for a dining room, and you can't really place like a large dining room table in there because the space is just not that large. I think one of those like round bistro style table would fit perfectly in there. But what I decided to do was, instead of having it to be a dining room, it's going to be my jewelry station. So now I live alone, guys, so it really doesn't matter because I'm not inconveniencing anybody else. What I really wanted to do was to leave my craft studio just confined to the one room, and if anything spilled out, I needed to get rid of stuff. But in my ever-loving routine of reorganizing, I reorganized my way into other areas. So now my studio is the master bedroom, the living room, and the dining room. So I have an issue. So that is why it's taking me a little while to get my craft studio tour all done, because I'm literally working on 3 rooms, trying to get all 3 rooms set so that I can film my craft room studio. So with that said, that will be coming soon. Leave me a comment down below. Does your craft supplies occupy more than one room? And if so, tell me, what areas does it occupy? Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is we need to repunch our holes, right? Because we've added our scrapbook paper and our heavy scallop paper. So we need to redo our holes. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, perfect. All right, so now we have our holes all redone. Okay, so how beautiful is it coming out so far? Now, I ended up not wanting to place the scalloped here because that's going to be the bottom, and that's the part that's going to take the heavier part of using. Do you know what I mean? That's the part that's going to be sliding around, and I thought that the scallop might kind of hinder that a little bit, so that's why I didn't place it there. But if you wanted to, absolutely go ahead and add it before you add your scrapbook paper. Okay, let's go ahead and get started on the rest. So I'm going to go ahead and place this off to the side. Now let's go ahead and work on the pages. So I've decided to make 5 pages. Certainly you can use less, you can use more, whatever it is that you need to do. And let me show you what we're going to need. So you're going to need 5 pieces of cardstock. Now you don't have to use the same color. You can kind of mix it up, make them different colors, whatever you wish. I've elected to use the same, and what you're going to need are 5 pieces of cardstock that are 4.5 by 6.5. And so that's going to be for the base. And then you're going to need, and again, this is going to be totally up to you, you can either just line the front side and not do the back. You can do that. I've elected to do both sides. So we need 10 pieces of scrapbook paper. So I've done 2 of each pattern, and the size that you're going to need are 4 3/8 by 6 3/8. So that's going to be just so that you have a little bit of the pink showing all the way around, about 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to go ahead, and I've already added my double-sided tape. And let's go ahead and just remove the paper backing. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. So let's go ahead and we'll bring in our first page. And again, it's about 1/8 of an inch going all the way around. Okay, and then we're going to flip it over and we're going to do the exact same thing. Believe it or not, I still can't find my finger blade. I have no idea what the heck I did with it. Oh my goodness, speaking of that, you know those Michael's kind of Lazy Susan tool organizers that were popular a while back? I had bought 2 of them at one point, and I'm telling you guys, it is driving me crazy. I can't find the second one. I'm going to place a picture here on the screen just so you know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. But how on earth do you lose something like that? Am I right? I mean, it was completely filled with tools, so I am not sure what the heck I did with it. It just completely vanished. Has that ever happened to you guys? Leave me a comment down below. Have you ever lost like a larger item and can't for the life of you find it? I have looked for a week and I cannot locate it. I don't know. Okay, so we've gone ahead and done that. Now let's go ahead and do the rest of our pages. Okay, so next what we need to do is we need to make our holes for the flip pages. So basically all I did was I just placed my page right on top of the front cover, making sure that it was even on both sides. I made myself a little hole, a little mark, and then I pressed the holes down, or rather made my holes. Now I'll just go through and I will make my holes on the remaining pages. Okay, so now we have all our pages done. Now what I want to do is I want to let me show you kind of what I'm thinking. Alright, so if we close this up, right, we're going to have pages on this side that are going to flip over, right? But then on the back side, I want to make a couple of pockets. So that's what we're going to work on next, is the pockets. So, okay, so for the bottom pocket, that I'm making it kind of expandable. What we're going to need is a piece of cardstock that is 9 by 6, and on the 9-inch side, we're going to score at a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2, and 2. And then we're going to score at 7, a 1/2 inch, 8, and 8 1/2. So 1/2 inch, 1, 1.5, 2, and then 7, 7.5, 8.5, 8, and 8.5. Then we're going to turn it, and we're going to score on the 6-inch side. We're going to score at a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, and 2. Okay, so now we need to miter cut our piece. So essentially what we're going to do is we are going to remove all of the corner pieces. So let me just show you how we're going to do that. So just like that, we're just removing all of the small boxes on the side. And we'll do the exact same thing to the opposite side. Okay, and now we can get rid of those little pieces. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to just fold on the creases. So let me see, it's gonna be like this, like this. I'm basically just accordion folding like that. Okay, so this is up, like that, that, and like that. Okay, let's see. Okay, so now after we've done that, you can see that we have quite a bit of room there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the bottom first. So I'm just going to release a little bit of the bottom here, just a little bit, just so that I can fold over my side. That's all I'm going to do. That's all I'm concerned about at the moment. And do the same thing on the opposite side. Just release just a little bit. Okay, so now there is our pocket. Now what we're going to need is a piece of scrapbook paper that's going to go right in the middle, that's going to line our pocket. So what you need is a piece of scrapbook paper that's 4 7/8 by 3 7/8, and then we're just going to remove the paper backing, and then we'll place it right on the pocket itself. Okay, so let's see, I'm going to turn it over, and I've left myself about 1/8 of an inch on the side. Okay. Perfect. Okay, let's get rid of our garbage. Now we're going to work on our smaller pocket. So let's see here, up and like this. Okay, so to start again, you know what, let's go ahead and just place this first. So the scrapbook paper that you're going to need to line the top pocket is 4 7/8 by 2 7/8. Okay, get rid of the paper backing. We are doing good. Okay, get rid of our garbage. You know I like to have a nice clean workspace. Let's see, it's gonna go like this. Okay, and then we're just gonna place it right in the middle. Now that we have our scrapbook paper, now let's just assemble our pocket. So again, I'm just going to release a little bit of the back of the bottom, and I'm just going to fold over the side. Okay, do the same thing on the opposite side. So release a little bit and fold over the side. Okay, so now one is going to go, the smaller one's going to go right on top of the bottom. Now, let's go ahead and make ourselves a little notch. So I'm just using just a 1-inch scallop circle punch to make my hole. Okay, there's one. And I'm just going to go right on top of the bottom one, just so that I have it somewhat in the same position. Let's see here. Get rid of. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get rid of our garbage. Okay, now that we have our 2 pockets created, let's go ahead and add one on top of the other. I'm just cutting. I see a little bit of double-sided tape hanging off. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so now I'm going to get rid of all the paper backing of my smaller pocket. Get rid of this. And now I'm going to place it right on top of our bottom pocket. Okay, let's do that part first. And then just go to the edge of our bottom and then do the exact same thing on the opposite side. There we go. All right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just use my bone folder just to make sure that I'm pressing in really, really well. Good. And let's do the opposite side. Okay. Okay, so now when you're looking at your pocket, you have a nice depth top pocket, and then you have a nice larger pocket in the back. So let's go ahead now and just bring back in our base. And we need to decide which side is going to be the front and which one's going to be the back. And I'm going to do this side. Okay, so now what we need to do is we just need to add it right to the back. So let's go ahead and remove the paper backing. Okay, from all 3 sides. And again, I'm going to work on the bottom first. Make sure that it's perfectly lined up. Push in my side just a little bit. I want it to line up to my scrap paper on the back. And there. Okay, let's go ahead and remove the garbage. And let's press down really, really well. We're almost done, guys. Okay, now with my bone folder, I am just going to go ahead and press it down really, really hard so that it's really on there. And let's do the opposite side. Okay. So now, if we close this, you can see that we have quite a bit of room here to add things, and we have quite a bit of room here. So that's going to be the back. On the front, we're going to have all of our pages, right? So the next thing that we need to do is, I already have my hot glue. It's already ready. What we need to do is close this, the top, so that it stays shut. So let me bring over my glue gun. And then as well, I'm going to bring in some binder clips. Let's see if I can use them. And let's go ahead and add, make sure here, let's go ahead and add some glue all the way on top. Okay. Make sure it's even when you're pressing it together. Okay, just hold it in place because there's an awful lot of glue that needs to be joined together. Okay. Okay. I'm just getting some of the glue strings out of the way. Okay. And then let's see if I can use some of these here just to kind of hold it in place. There we go. And let me use some of these little ones here. No, that won't necessarily work. So I'm just going to move it over just a little bit. Okay. So I'm just going to hold that there for a little bit. Let's go ahead and just let this sit for a bit, and then I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I think that my glue has dried, so I'm just going to get rid of, sorry for reaching, get rid of my binder clips, and I'm just going to make sure that I punch a hole to see if there are any glue strings in the way, and I do see a few, so just kind of getting that out of my way. Okay, so now it is very sturdy. So this little, I was going to say contraption, this little project is really well made with the chipboard and the hot glue. So we have all of our pages already done. We've added our holes. So let's go ahead and thread through my book rings. Okay, and it's a nice tight fit. Okay, let's do the other side. Oh, I'm loving how this is coming out. Okay, now let's go ahead and put in our pages. I've already gone through and selected and sorted them rather in the order that I want. Okay, put that, let's see, okay, perfect. Close them up. Let's see, I think I should well, you know what, I don't think it matters. I better leave it up. I was gonna move the closure to the bottom, but I think for the person that this is who's gonna receive this, perhaps it might be easier for them to get at opening in case they want to add something. So I'm gonna leave it at the top. But there you have it, guys. There is our completed project. Okay, so let's talk about potential uses for this easel. Now, when I just absolutely, I am in love with this project. Honest to goodness, I am just so tickled pink with how it came out, and it's so sturdy. So potential uses. You can send this as happy mail, kind of picture placing all kinds of craft goodness inside these pockets, layering each page with something different. Let me bring back in my embellishments, just as a, for instance, let me pick one that doesn't have really blue on it. So here is an embellishment that I recently made, and let's see here. And see how cute would that be placed on this page. So you can add some embellishments on the pages. You could, let's see if this is big enough. You could add some flowers to it. I haven't placed any bag toppers on these. Let's see here. Perhaps another cluster embellishment on another page. You know what I mean? Like, there are tons of things that you can include. Now, if it's not a happy mail idea, right? Well, pictures, family pictures. You know, add your pictures here, perhaps, and maybe attach the pictures to each page, but don't adhere them so that they're permanent. Perhaps use some of the removable foam dots on each. That way you can take them off. And then how about placing in these pockets additional pictures that once you're tired of looking at certain pictures, you can switch them out with something that's in here. Just an idea. think birthday gift. Really, I mean, the uses are truly, truly endless. And it doesn't really take a long time to complete. It took me a little bit just because I went through all of the process. But once you knock it out, you have, you can do it rather quickly. So let me know. Leave me a comment down below. How else do you see potentially using something like this? I'd be really interested to find out. Alright guys, well that's all I have for you today. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you have, guys, thank you so much. Your support goes an awful long way in helping my little channel out. Alright guys, until the next time, stay safe, be kind, and keep it creative.